Hi, hello, welcome to Dusty Shop, where bad decisions are rabid and planning is lacking. So, don't do what we do. Well, you could try it. Have fun with it. You know, do the YouTube stuff. Click like and subscribe. Alright, thanks. Alright, Circus Goers. So, today, George and myself are, we're moving some lines around. So what we did here is when we run these hard lines in there, we put them in the wrong spot because the steering shaft will just kind of get in there and jack with them. So we're gonna run them over because of the headers and everything else. So we're gonna run them over the nose of the gearbox. Those are the hard lines going up to the fuel line. So those are fuel lines. So we're gonna run them over the nose of the box, and we're gonna kind of move them around a little bit because we have got them right now. I was hoping there was more room and kind of down by the A-frame. So, but unfortunately, no, there was not. So, we're going to pull them down and reroute them a little bit. So we're going to take the power steering line off that we have made up, and move them over. So that way they can, like George is showing you right there, we're going to go over the nose. We're running out of real estate underneath that hood rather quickly, and we still have more to go. Yeah, more to go. So, with that being said, here we go. So George is moving the lines around at a world pace record of movement. So, yeah, like I said, we just kind of roughed them in. And so now we are doing the final bend on them and getting them in place, so that way we can run the flex lines for the good old fuel lines, which, you know, still waiting on parts. Alright, so there George is. He's coming on the ladder so he can do some of the work up there, and because we ain't doing a whole lot up on top, but still gotta get up there. So you gotta go up the ladder and get up there and make sure that the lines are kind of where we would like them to fall. I'm underneath there right now. I am getting ready. We are going to hook up the lines, the cooling lines to the transmission. So we got the A&N fittings, we got some flex line. So I'm kind of getting everything ready to go so we can start to do that. I hope. So George has been up there kind of him on around, having a little bit of a fighting match with the old lines up there. Left them a little long, which made them kind of hard to get move around, especially where we want to put them. So yeah. Nice. He's coming down here. He is coming down to check the bottom of it. Make sure we didn't kink him, because we almost kinked that line, and that would have been rough. Being that some of them lines, one of them lines is pretty long. So we'll watch George as he.
And haters gonna hate, naysayers gonna naysay, yeah.
So as we can see here, I am tightening up all the A&N line fittings and kind of laying everything out for the trans cooler. So that's what we're going to try to work on now. So we got the fuel lines up in the front pretty much squared away at this point. So we're like, all right, we're gonna get this transmission and transcooler all done. Everything's wired in, coolers underneath there. So I'm over here, like I said, getting the hard lines prepped so we can start mapping out the flex lines, which we got an idea. It's just a matter of actually getting her done. So there I've got one of the flex lines in my hand. Make sure we got the right amount of length, because I might have cut the first one a little short. So luckily enough with that, it it worked on the other side. So how about that? George is up there finishing up a little bit on the fuel lines on there. That's why he's coming down on the ladder. Now we're looking at all this. We are going to try to wrestle in. When we started this, we're thinking, man, this should be easy. You see a lot of people, other videos where they do that, and they already have the transmission lines all made up, and just kind of dangling there on top of the transmission and all that. Yeah, that's a wonderful idea. I would definitely get the transmission lines made up before you put the transmission in the vehicle, because like I said, right now we are discussing it, but as you'll see here in a few minutes, that yeah, that's do that. We had a little bit of a fight, you want to call it, or whatever. So, but anyhow, right now here I'm kind of explaining to George how we did all this good stuff right here, as I'm kind of laying it out. I've already made up, I think by this point I've already made up the flex lines for the fuel filter. So they come down from a point. I didn't even show none of it in here. I don't know why, but they're just, I thought I did it. We were having a little technical difficulties here and there with some of the equipment. I don't know why. We're going to try to make this a cool video with multiple angle shots, and we got a few. And the audio I was actually placing on another piece of equipment, and the one that, yeah, not this one. The other one that we're not getting very much out of, audio didn't work at all. So here we are again, doing what we do. So George and myself, we're kind of discussing where and what to do next with this. So he's trying to get in there, and we didn't even take out the old transmission lines or nothing. So yeah, so we decided that we're gonna go ahead and try to lift the transmission there with the old jack. George is taking out that big aluminum drive shaft we're gonna use there in the truck right now. Slide it out of the way. There she is, sitting right there. And so he is going to block up the tranny, because yeah, get it blocked up. We're gonna take the back mount down, kind of drop it down a little bit, so that way we get a little more room, because it's pretty tight up there. The plan was to drop it down a little bit so that we could get in there and pull the old fittings out, slide the ANs in there, tighten them up, take the AN wrenches, go up in there, snug everything up, run them over the transmission cooler. What? Making lines and everything else. Maybe an hour? Oh no. No. We were there hours doing this. Hours. I mean hours. Hours doing this. So, like I said, George is grabbing some blocking material. I'm still messing around with trying to figure out the angles. Or not the angles, but kind of making up some lines. Getting the ends put on it. We know we're going to run the ones kind of long, so we're going to cut those to fit once we get the one end hooked up. As you can see right now, the exhaust, which is right through that part of the truck, as we've known in other videos, right there at that Y pipe, That's all one piece that goes all the way up to the headers. Yep. So we thought, man, we'll sneak around that, get our hands up in there, and get it done. So yeah, that's what was the plan. So George is now, he's gonna get it all blocked up, right? So that way we can, as you can see here, change of view. George is gonna underneath the pan, blocking it up, so that way we can lower the transmission down. We're hoping just enough. We got some room to work. That's the plan. We'll see how that turns out. So what we have here is George is trying to get the transmission line fittings that were in the transmission, trying to get them out. Yep. And yeah, we both worked on this for a little bit. It was an what do you call that? Optical illusion, hard-headedness. I don't know. You could get about, I don't know, maybe 2 maybe clicks on a ratchet wrench to get to move it in there, so you're hardly moving at all. And we know those fittings are kind of long-winded, and we were going absolutely nowhere. So I'm over here right now. I have to reach my time doing the other. I am finishing up the fuel lines. So again, hard-headed. I thought, man, I got a little short piece, fit right in there, man, it look good, blah blah blah. Nope, George told me, he's nope, make it long, make a loop. I said, I think I can do it, because I only had maybe 3/4 of an inch in there between the two AN fittings. So that was me taking it out, me over there now, and I am making one with a loop, because to save I could not connect the two ends together to save my life. So now I am over there making another loop line to feed the fuel filters, and then one to come back and then run up to the truck, front of the truck, to hook up to the Holly system we have on it. And George is trying to plot and plan how in the world we're going to get those AN fittings into the transmission as rubber seal. You can't just like run it in with an impact and drive it on home. That won't work, because then it'll probably leak. So as I'm over there finishing up my tightening up all those fuel lines and getting all that done, which wasn't really all that hard. It just, you know, gotta be done. George is trying to figure out what we're gonna do, and right now he's giving me a little, not giving me a rash, but I was being hard-headed and I deserved what I got. So you know, sometimes you know, you should take a listen. You should take when you're somebody's suggesting something, you should maybe think a little bit, spend a second, think about it for a second. I was just gun-ho, you know, as we say, lack of planning. Yeah, paying tuition. So I'm getting that done right here, and so Everything fit, looks good. Getting all the fittings on it, cleaning her all up to make her look spectacular underneath there. I'm just being kind of crazy about that. So now we're off to the races. We are gonna get them fittings in there. We took the cross member out for the transmission, so that way we could get in there and give ourselves, if we can drop the transmission down a little bit, give ourselves some more room. That way we can work. Shouldn't be that big a deal. Maybe just the old fittings were just a little hard to get out. There's me grabbing my rim. I got a little rim in the shop that I stand on with a board in it. That way I can kind of get up a little higher when I need to. Like this, I can reach way up in there. Yep. Nope. Didn't work. Did not work. We spent, I don't know how much time doing this. Both of us, total arms hurt. Just like I said, I don't know how much time we spent. We just figured we could get her done. We wouldn't have to drop that exhaust. I don't know if it was one of the deals to see if we could do it. Hard-headed, probably a lot of it. We didn't give up. We were gonna do it. We were trying everything to not do it this way. I don't know why. I really don't. Neither one of us know why. We just kept going at it. I mean, it's Saturday. You're in the shop, kicking back. Next thing you know, you're like, man, this ain't working out. A couple long hours go by, and here we decide that, let's go ahead and pull the exhaust. I'm unplugging the O2 sensor on that side, and here we go. Out comes the exhaust. Okay, so as you can see here, yeah, we designed that exhaust system to do exactly that. Relatively easy to get out. It's one piece. Both sides line up as of right now. They line up pretty good. So me and George now, we've got the AN fittings tightened up in the transmission now that we've removed the exhaust, because we spent a whole lot of time trying to do it without taking the exhaust off. Like I said before, I don't know why. We just did. So making progress now. Got the fittings in there. We got the first line to mark, kind of line in there. I don't know, for whatever reason I made it short. Yep. So what happens here is we have a transcooler that's about the middle, right behind the cab, which we've all seen. We took some hard lines and then run them down to the transmission bracket, and then from there they go to flex lines all the way into the transmission. Luckily I made those hard lines staggered, so the one I was planning on using at first didn't work, so I moved it and it fit to the other one. Got lucky. Because I been a pretty bad day if I would have messed that up, because that's a pretty long piece of line, and we were trying to get this thing done, and we have to order all that stuff and come in there, so that's what I'm doing there. So we got it in. Kind of roughly decided, instead of cutting them short, we'll cut them a little long and then kind of cut them back to fit to fit the truck better. I don't want a lot of slop and slack, so that's what George is doing right there. We're getting it all lined up, making sure she looks good. So we got the AM fittings snugged up like they're supposed to be. Shouldn't be any leaks coming out of the transmission. Kind of chunk it over there, right on that. There's a the little, I don't know what that. There's an eye in the casting, so I was using that eye for a mounting point for the flex lines to kind of keep them where I want them. And so that's what we're doing right there, kind of getting everything lined up. Now we're gonna put the old tranny bracket back in. We made this thing to fit pretty snug, but it's gone in any other time we've done this really easy. Not this time. I don't know why it was. Today was just a odd day. Everything wanted to fight, so here we go. That, and on that there little deal, we're gonna take the truck apart. Here's me giving you a little persuasion with the whack-a-mole, little rubber mallet. Get it all lined up there. Like I was saying before, eventually I'm gonna take that bracket down. It's aluminum, so I'm gonna polish the life out of that thing and make it look like chrome, just shiny. And I'm gonna clear coat it. And I'm gonna stick it back underneath the truck. Yeah, exactly. That's what George said. Why? I don't know. I just want to. I think it looked kind of cool. How many people are going to see it? Just us on the video, or on the channel here. Maybe a few people here and there, if we happen to have it up in the air for whatever reason, if we're messing with it, especially when we go to race it. Because yes, this truck we'll see a little track time. Probably some drag and drive type stuff. Kind of what the truck's being built for. So yeah, here's me and George with the struggles of getting the bracket, the transmission bracket back in the truck. So with that being, like I said, I have no idea why today was such an off day, but it was. We get the lines kind of made, but we want to make sure here that and the kind of day we were having, we want to make sure that the lines weren't going to get crushed or pinched or anything else and starve the transmission, for fluid. So that's why we put the transmission bracket back in there, and that's us running the lines over, get them in place. George is hooking them up, so that way everything's nice and tidy and neat and clean. We're also worried about, what's kind of the reason why we want to leave the exhaust on there, was to make sure that the lines weren't getting close to the exhaust system. Being that we could not do it with it on there. Jordan in the background, we are cutting lines, putting the ends on it, slinging it. There we go. We are slinging that line on through there, wrapping it in there. I ended up putting some extra heat wrap I had for the wiring over the training lines. I had some. Why not? Not gonna hurt nothing. It just help it. So kind of wrapped up the training lines while we were there. Get everything in place where we want it. George is tightening everything up there. I went out, got some more fittings. Stuck a piece of rubber. Well, it was a piece of rubber on the lines so that when it's right there by the transmission, it won't rub holes in either one. You just eat the rubber up. Just something we'll have to kind of keep an eye on for a little while. Make sure it doesn't do that. So, like I said, now it's just a matter of bringing them down, cutting them to fit exactly the way we want, and then stuck an end on the end, put the ends in it, hook everything up. Yeah, what? There I am right there. That's the heat barrier heat shielding stuff I've got. And I just felt better with it on there. What it'll do, I mean, will it hurt it? No. Will it help it? Hopefully. And so now, we are cleaning everything up, getting everything mounted, because once we're done here, the transmission lines, cooling lines and everything should be done, with the exception, well, it better not leak. Just it's not gonna leak. No, I'm not jinxing myself. It's not gonna leak. No, absolutely will not leak. It's gonna leak like a sieve now that I said that. So probably jinxed us. I hope not. We spent a whole lot of time on that part of the getting everything in there. We are definitely, most definitely, running out of real estate underneath this truck. Actually, all over this truck. We still got more goodies to put on her. Yes, indeedy, we sure do. But you know what? That's fun to be in hot rod. This was took a long time to do, but it's got to be done. Gots to be done. Being that we're gonna run it like it is, it's a 7R4, supposedly built. I'm gonna take the guy that I got everything from. I don't doubt it. He tried to put this transmission behind something else, and it would stall out the engine and everything else. So got a big stall in it. Hopefully the engine will do fine. There I am right there. That's us putting the final touches on the links on the cooling lines. We're gonna zip them off right there. Boom, gone. Boom. Stick the ends on there as I'm doing right there. Get them hooked up to the cooler. Been a day, for sure. It was definitely an interesting day. Got everything hooked up. And that's us, double checking, triple checking, make sure everything's tight, right. Everything is the way we want it, because man, like I said, best to take the time right now, go over everything at least 6 times, which we did. Double check and make sure the lines are squared away, tightened up. Went around the block, took a break. Yeah, we liked it, so we're gonna go ahead and get it finished up. There's that piece of rubber I was talking about earlier, and so a little, I don't know, just a wear point. I think it might rub right in there, so we put it there. That way, if it does, no big deal, won't hurt nothing. Just eat the rubber, won't make any clattering noises or anything else. Like, we're not gonna hear it over the exhaust anyway, or the engine purring like a kitten. That's what we're trying to get to, make it purr like a kitten. So with that being said, as you can see, we are mad dashing through here. Really, it seems like it took forever to do it, so that's kind of why I'm kind of doing the fast forward thing through here. Looks cool. That's right up there. I was taking, and I am actually hooking the positive wire up, making it all up, and so we can hook the starter up, because I've never finished making up the ends for the starter wires. So that's what I did there. We got that done. George, there we go, pulling the jack stand out from underneath the truck, and we are going to stab the exhaust. It's you can see the O2 sensor right there dangling down. That's what the little wire is on the end. That's on the lift. It's not too bad. I don't know how it's going to be on the ground to put this exhaust system on it if we had to. I don't know. I know right now on the lift, it's not all that. It's not bad. Not bad at all. You can actually do it by yourself. You just got to go to look at some slip clamps down there at X-Pipe, get those on there, and get one of the flanges halfway lined up. You're in business. You're in business. But that's why we designed it. So that's what we're doing here. Kind of chuckling and laughing. It's I said this and another thing. We've taken that exhaust off a couple times, just between making it and welding it all out and doing everything else. And I don't know what, like I said, what that day was, but everything just did not want to play well at all. So that being said, there, search goers, we've got the transmission now all made up, so that's done. Outside of just a little bit of wiring to go underneath the hood, which I've got to finish up to connect everything to the Holly. Torque converter bolts, because we ordered some bolts, but yeah, they were not the right ones at all. So few torque converter bolts. You can see there George is sliding the old drive shaft there, that big aluminum drive shaft back into place. We're gonna try it. You know, what's the worst thing can happen? We twist it. Yeah. We'll see. I might polish that up too, make that look really shiny. I don't know. With that being had to be balanced though, I might do that before we send it out to have it balanced, just to be on the safe side. But anyhow, we've got, like I said, we have AN fittings on the transmission. We have the soft lines set up to go back to our hard lines, going back to our cooler. That's done. Checking all that out. Now we have the starter all hooked up. The fuel lines that you can see right there by where George's hand is right now, that is the fuel pump and fuel filter. All that setup right there is done. We moved the front lines up in the front to go around the nose of the gearbox. I don't know. That may change again. I don't know. You know, is it gonna hurt nothing? No. If we ever got to change the gearbox out, it wouldn't matter in this truck anyway, because everything's so tight up there anyway. You gotta take a bunch of stuff apart. So, with that being said, for us, it's a really good day. We're really ecstatic about everything. Like I said, the starter's hooked up. We got the transmission cooling lines all hooked up. We've got the fuel lines down there by the fuel pump, our little fuel pump plate. That's all done. The return line runs past it. Done. With the exception of a few more lines and some wiring that I've got to do, this thing, we're getting closer. We're really getting closer. I think George and myself both are ready for this thing to start and hear this thing talk through the exhaust. And I think it'll be really cool, especially on running on the Holly. So, man, stay tuned. Grandpa Stroker is coming along. It is coming along. Fortunately, a lot of stuff we're doing right now is kind of with the truck is rather boring. You know, it's doing plumbing. It's finishing up the electrical system, which I've been that's my deal. I've got to get up my butt in gear and get that done. So, with that being said, yeah, thanks for watching. And yeah, we'll see you on the next video. We'll see what old Grandpa Stroker has to do. There's some cool little tricks we're going to do with some of the lights coming up. So maybe when I get wiring and all that, we'll show a video. Hopefully all that kind of stuff will be happening next week with Grandpa Stroker. So, alright. Well, thanks for watching. And we'll catch you on the next one. Alright. Thanks.